Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Hiya Toys ROBOCOP 3 ROBOCOP and Otomo 2-pack, which is, let me zoom out, because these guys are so small, it's hard to get the packaging in there. It's packaged in a very nice outer package, and then it has like a traditional card with a blister, and if you're into packaged items, it does look very nice. If you're not, then we have figures to talk about too. But as you guys know, they made a really good ROBOCOP figure in the past, and this is another one that's pretty darn good. And then the Otomo figure is one that we have to review. I mean, we're going to review both, but it's all new. So let's go ahead and get them off the stand and take a closer look. First thing we need to do is get some height measurements. This guy stands just over 4 inches, about 4 1/8. That's going to make him roughly 10.5 centimeters. And this guy, make sure his legs aren't extended from that drop down hip, he is about 10.5 and 4 1/8, just about the same as ROBOCOP. I don't know if that's accurate. I'm guessing ROBOCOP should be taller by a little bit, but I can honestly say I couldn't get through ROBOCOP 3 when I tried to watch it, so I turned it off very quickly. Question of the day, how do you feel about ROBOCOP 3? What are your thoughts on that? I'm fine with ROBOCOP 1. I thought 2 was not my thing, and then 3 was just so far gone that I couldn't do it. Okay, so let's do a quick comparison. We'll stand these guys up, and for those of you who aren't very familiar with Hiya Toys, they're very small. I know I do height measurements to show you, but I want you to actually see how small they are. There's Darwin, towering over them. They're tiny little figures, and they have so much detail, like you would never guess. If you take them up close, there's so much more detail packed into them than something like a Marvel Legends figure. Yet they're the size of a leg, plus some. They're so little and so well executed. I don't collect this scale. They send these to me to review so you guys can see them, because I know a lot of you guys collect them. But these ROBOCOP ones are some of their best ones by far. They do a good job with the Preds, but I love the ROBOCOP. So let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetic. The blue and purple pearly like beetle shell look on his armor, very nicely executed. This looks great. I love it. They got the semi-gloss black for his black parts. Looks wonderful. I think the overall proportioning is pretty darn good. He might be slightly stocky. I think I said that in the last review too, but it's really good. They got the head shape pretty well down. It actually looks better, I think, than the NECA one I reviewed recently. Very, very nicely done. The sculpts are sharp, and the paints match. Like, it looks good. I like it. I will say this hand here, this whole gun hand thing, is not semi-gloss. Maybe that's accurate. Maybe they did that on purpose, but everything else is semi-gloss, which I think looks actually a little bit better. But yeah, aesthetically speaking, even the face detailing, they did a pretty damn good job. That is impressive. I'm thoroughly impressed by this at this scale. So they're very cool. So ROBOCOP's going to get a 9 out of 10 for the aesthetic. This guy, a little bit less good. His skin's definitely too red, I think, because he is just a regular human who's got his face all kind of reconfigured. Like, it's, I'm not exactly sure the details, but I have looked up images and he still just looks like a regular human mostly. So the skin tone's a weird red, but the sculpt is not bad, and the detail paintwork is actually really good. So I'll take that. That's fine. The detail work in his outfit is okay. At this scale, you're going to have things like thicker plastic than you want for the clothing, so that's reasonable to have all these layers. But you do have detail work down here where his pants are tied up and whatnot, in his shoes, so it looks pretty good, but I'll give him a 7 because the purpley red skin tone is a little bit weird. I know in a lot of the scenes it's darker and it kind of looks like that, but in the scenes where it's not dark, he does not have, based on the images I've looked up anyway, purpley red skin. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong about that. So yeah, he doesn't have his higher rating. Let's go ahead and do accessories. ROBOCOP comes with his middle finger punch hand, which I know is not what it's for, but you know, and then his gun hand on him in the package. Then you get, for the right hand, you get a gun holding hand and an open hand and his gun. That's it. In ROBOCOP 3, does he not have a left hand at all? Or did they just not bother making it for the figure? Let me know. And then for Otomo, you get his katana and scabbard. The scabbard comes on him in the package. You get the 2 gripping hands that come on him in the package, and then you get 2 loose hands. That's a pretty good spread, I would say. You do also get the 2 display stands with the little clips. Those are fine. Those are whatever. I don't know if people use those or not. If you collect Hiya Toys, let me know if you use those display stands. I'll give the overall accessory rating a 7 out of 10. I think that's fine. If he does have a regular hand at any point in the movie, I think that would have been cool to include. And maybe an alternate expression for this guy. But otherwise, that's pretty good spread. I'll take it. All right, let's do the articulation. We'll start with this guy. It's not the best because it's tiny, and that's standard. That's what she said. All right, so the head is on a ball peg. It's going to work enough. You can rotate it around. No real problem. It does lean enough. Not a ton, but enough. Shoulders are on a standard swivel hinge, so they get up to horizontal, and then they rotate around, but the coat is going to get in the way a little bit. Bicep swivel happens down here at the elbow. It's a single jointed elbow, just shy of 90 degrees, and then you get your rotation down there, so that's pretty limiting. Then the wrists are on tiny little ball pegs. The scabbard is a loose piece, so if you need to adjust that for posing, you can do that. The coat is a separate piece, also the outer part of the coat. And you do get a diaphragm joint in there, but you're not really going to be able to do much with it. I can't really get it to do much. Same thing with the ball peg down here. Like, you get some rotation easily, but you're not going to be able to reach in there to get much else going on. So be aware of that. Hips are on drop-down hinges, which I hate, but they help somewhat to get the leg out to the front. So if you want that, you can do that. Going out to the side, not bad. The hinge doesn't help that, and the hinge is too loose if you ask me, but it's okay. And you get your thigh swivel. If you want that, you have that. Single jointed knee. Not quite 90 degrees, pretty limited, could be better for sure. You do get rotation out of that if you want it. I don't think you will. And then lastly, we have a ball peg ankle, which is pretty limited, but it'll be enough to get him standing, and that should be fine. So very limited articulation on this guy, not the best. Will it be good enough? Probably at this scale. I don't think you guys are expecting too much out of him, but I think it could have been a little better without costing more. So I'll give his articulation only a 5 out of 10. It's not great. They're not really justifiable. For ROBOCOP, his head moves around much better. Really good range out of that, so that's really nice. Shoulders have limitations based on those shoulder designs, so that blows. Not much they can do about that, but that does blow. You get your full rotation, of course, and there is no bicep swivel. At least it doesn't feel like it's meant to. I think it's just wiggling. So yeah, very limited shoulders. Elbows give you just about 90 degrees. I think that's fine the way they've done it. I think it could be a little bit more finessed, but it's all right. Shoulders are limited, elbows are okay. Wrist articulation is just a little ball peg on this side, and on the other side, obviously, there is none. We have a diaphragm joint and then a waist joint, and that does allow him to move probably better than real ROBOCOP could move, so I like it. I'll take that. You get your rotations and your leaning. It works really nicely. Honestly, it's very cool. All right, for the hips, just like the shoulders, there's not much they could do. You get a ball socket in there that lets the hips have a thigh swivel, and they go out to the side a little bit, and that's kind of it. They go forward, but it's at a weird angle, so you're not going to really be able to use it. They go back, same thing. It's just ROBOCOP's design is not great for articulation. There seems to be a little bit more of a gap on this side than this side. I'm not sure what's causing that, but it's probably just the way it's posed. Yeah, so very limited hips. Knees are just like the elbows, single jointed knee, not 90 degrees even, so that kind of sucks. Ankles, they do have this fake little piston in here. I mean, the plastic slides in and out of it, so it works, but obviously doesn't actually do anything, but that's cool that they did that. You get decent range out of the ankles. They go relatively far forward and relatively far back. You do get an ankle rocker, and the piston is on a ball peg, so it'll move as you need it to. So is it it's not focused? Is it focused? I don't know if it was focused. I'll do it. So there you go. You can see that works pretty well. So his ankles are surprisingly, ankles and neck and torso are the best. Arms and hips and knees, not great. I'll go 7 because we do have some good joints in there, but yeah, it's not super posable, which is fine because it's ROBOCOP probably. All right, so time for the final verdict for this 2-pack. If you're a ROBOCOP 3 fan and you like this scale, I'm going to say go ahead and get it. This figure could be a lot better, but it does look good enough, I would say, and ROBOCOP definitely looks good enough. And I'm guessing if you collect this scale, you're not really into dynamic posing, so you're probably going to be okay with that. And again, I think at the price point, this is all perfectly reasonable, and I think the finish on ROBOCOP is so nice that it kind of carries the set. So I'm going to give it a final rating of 8 out of 10. It's a really solid set with some room for improvement. You guys can let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should consider it because I have new videos every day but Wednesday, and I have thousands and thousands of videos already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.